Witamy Was serdecznie. Gorąco chcielibyśmy Was zaprosić na wywiad z Wolfem Prixem z pracowni architektonicznej Coop Himmelb prosto z Wiednia. Wywiad dla magazynu Architektura i Biznes będzie przeprowadzał Wojciech Fudala
razem z Justyną Boduch.
Witamy.
Wolf Prix jest austriackim architektem, który jest prekursorem dekonstruktywizmu. Ten styl tworzył wraz z takimi nazwiskami jak Daniel Libeskind, Zaha Hadid czy Frank Gehry. Więcej dowiecie się już za chwilę, oglądając ten wywiad, także łączymy się z Wiedniem i serdecznie zapraszamy Was do oglądania. During this interview, we would like to talk a little bit about your career, because 2 years ago you celebrated the 50th anniversary of your office. That's a great number, because in 1968 you founded Coop Himmelb together with Helmut Spiczyński. He was an architect born in Poland. And how do you remember the beginnings of the office? Do you remember what were your first projects together?
The cloud.
And did you develop your deconstructivism from the beginning, from
No.
the 60s?
This comes very much later. So in the 80s, when Derrida's philosophy get more influential and more important to the architectural scene, brought by Eisenman to the architectural scene. And the story is that we wanted to change architecture radically and try to find a new language. And this is a very heavy task, I have to say. It's like finishing the Tower of Babel, yeah? You know the story. You must know. In Poland, you know the Bible, yeah?
Yeah.
The Tower of Babel, so it's the goal of should be the goal of every architect, meaning reaching out, pushing the envelope. It's a good expression, yeah? So and then we started to investigate the method of designing, because we thought the moment this is complicated. It's very complicated to explain it in English, because the German word for designing is entwerfen. Do you speak German a little bit?
A little bit, but not great.
Yeah, okay, entwerfen is a very complex word and shows, meaning in English, designing, yeah? This is the moment where you invent the building, yeah? Designing, yeah? And not the development of the process, but the moment of designing, yeah, the idea, which could take long or it's very short. So we thought, if we want to change architecture, we have to use this moment of designing the building very radically in order to liberate space. Meaning to get rid all of the constraints, the rules and regulation and economy and so forth. Very important thing. And if you can concentrate this moment of designing in a very short period of time, then you get rid of all these constraints which prohibit the development of an open space. I compared it always with a jumping whale. Yeah, a whale is diving in the ocean.
Okay.
And if he comes out over the surface of the ocean, he changes the medium Yeah, and in this moment, 30 tons can fly. So this is the moment we try to go for, and we designed. We got a commission to do so, and we designed for a client in San Francisco a house, and this is what I will explain tomorrow.
Okay.
We are looking forward.
Yes,
this is a very surrealistic approach, but it's the one and only real deconstructivist method which is connected to the Derrida's philosophy. Namely that Derrida's is not a compositional game like all the people are believing. No, it's the working with the unconsciousness of the which is guiding the development of a project. Is that too complicated?
You and Helmut are called
away from every traditional theoretical approach of architecture, because I say that the more frustrated the architect is, the more frustrated the building is, because you cannot separate the way of thinking of an architect from the building he is designing. This is the old discussion whether an artist can can be a murderer or a criminal if he is doing good paintings, then he is an artist.
Yeah.
Could be, but you can see, if you analyze the whole thing, you can see on the painting he's painting and if you analyze it, then you can see his personality. That's all I say. And therefore, I say that a lot of architecture which is invented nowadays is the expression of a very frightful and not happy, mistrusting generation. If you look at the building of Eberle, he's doing windows like the slits in the defense towers of a medieval castle. And this is not for an open society, it's for a closed society. And I think we should go for buildings for the open society. Means completely different things.
You are very brave.
Why should I save energy if I can build a house which are producing energy? Why do I plant tomatoes on the balcony? Because I'm afraid of the future, that we will starving because we have no food anymore. Everyone is afraid of the future. And if you're afraid of the future, you shouldn't do architecture. Because in the moment you are designing the building, this is the future, because it takes a while to build it, and people are using it a long time. It's not for the past. It's a little bit, I'm astonished, a little bit, I'm a little bit worried that the young architects delegate too much to the machinery, on one hand to the computer, which means they delegate the liveliness to the machines. And on the other hand, they are building in clay and all these old-fashioned things. They think this is the future, which is Schwachsinn. Meaning that's stubbornness. Non-stubbornness. It's crazy. It's stupid.
Okay.
That's really stupid, because We have a lot of materials coming up. If we use it perfectly, with all these possibilities we have, we don't have to go back to the so-called healthy thing. And another thing, sustainability is a three-dimensional thing, namely ecological way of thinking, economical way of thinking, and social way of thinking. And in the social way of thinking is included the art. Art is a social attitude. So if you exclude, if you only think in ecological way or the Green Party is doing, they forget the social way and the art and all the cultural movements which are at the same importance than the other two branches. And if you only think on the economical way, you are a super capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a big challenge. And we don't want to let away art in our profession. People want to push out art from our profession. They say, hey, it's not economic. it's not, we have to optimize it. It must be more efficient. How stupid that is. We need more than just economic way of thinking and ecological way of thinking. All together.
So I think that you have a very brave attitude. And I heard that you and Helmut are called the Rolling Stones of architecture, like a rock star. Can you tell us why?
Yeah. You know, when Helmut is not in the team anymore, and he stepped out because of health a long time ago. But, you know, when in the postmodern time, every architect quotes Renaissance profiles and Renaissance architects and so forth. And when the journalists in an interview asking me, tell me which architect is your role model?
Mm-hmm.
And since everyone was saying, oh, my role model is Alberti or Brunelleschi or whatever, I said, my role model is Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, because our architecture is built like he is playing his guitar. So, since then, I didn't tell that Brancusi is my role model in art, or Corbusier, or Kiesler. I didn't tell that. I only say Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones, and therefore...
Okay, so I suppose what kind of music you like, but what kind of music do you like?
Of course, the Stones, especially the guitar. You will hear it tomorrow. Yes, Gimme Shelter is a beautiful thing, and I was always dreaming if I hear this. There's a run played by Keith, and the last sound reminds me of the building material of the future. Soft and strong at the same time.
Yes.
Anyway, so music is one of my favorite hobby. My son is much better playing his guitar than I'm playing my guitar.
Mm-hmm.
But Bach, Mozart, very, very good. Alban Berg, the Viennese modern thing.
Do you play acoustic or bass guitar? Acoustic or bass guitar?
No, electric guitar.
Electric. Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice.
If I turn around the camera, you would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 guitars.
Wow.
That's great. Fantastic.
But I can't play guitar. If I would be able to play guitar, I wouldn't be an architect.
Okay, so let's get back to your work, because we talked about the beginnings and about your philosophy, but in the 80s you decided to change the office name from, because then you took the letter L in the parentheses, changing the name of the office from Blue Sky to Sky Building. And why did you decide to do this change? Does it have any symbolic meaning for you?
Yes, of course. Our original name was Baukooperative Himmelblau, meaning Building Cooperative Himmelblau. When we were 3, when we founded Coop Himmelb. We always wanted to build our ideas. Yeah, the sketch we did and the drawings we did was only in order to build these things, not in the terms of plans with sketches, but we made the sketches are strategies in order to find out how we can build things which are seemingly unbuildable. Mm-hmm. So then we changed the name because it was too long, Baukooperative. We changed it to Cooperative Himmelblau, to Coop Himmelblau. And when we started to build in the 80s, when we started to build our first things, we erased the L from Blau, and that from the Blau means the color blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you erase the L, it changed the meaning from blue to building. Yeah, I liked it because people always said Himmelbau. I said, okay, this is a nice name. Finish the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but the cloud actually, the cloud was, you can see where the cloud is coming from. On the Tower of Babel, you can see on the image a cloud. And we said, okay, we cannot finish the Tower of Babel up, but we can build a detail, namely the cloud. And this is what I show you tomorrow. Okay. Move the platforms in a...
Yeah, okay, but if we touch the topic of your buildings, I must say that they are always very brave and uncompromising. And of course, such an architecture must be an extremely difficult challenge in terms of construction. So how are you dealing with it?
The challenge is not the construction, because nowadays you can build everything.
Yeah, but you are very innovative. You're even a world Guinness record holder, yeah? So you do some new things, like prototypes.
Yeah, every architect is doing prototypes, yeah. Even if he builds more than one of his houses, it's still a prototype together.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, but I think the challenge is not to build it. The challenge is the client. The challenge are the norms. The challenge are our society and what they call normal. Mm-hmm. Because in the word normal, there is the word norm. Yeah, and if you go along the norm, you are killed before you start to think about how the building could be. No, this is what we learned in the 60s. We learned to question things and not take it as a given. Yeah? Mm-hmm. If someone says, I want to have it like this, I have to, we always say, why? Tell me the story. why it should be like that. And then you figure out sometimes the guys are right. Then we take it. But very often it's just a norm, yeah, of the normality. Oh, I haven't seen that. I want to have it like it was before, yeah. This is not the way you can push the envelope, and you know, you have to, in order to go ahead, you have to push the envelope, yeah.
Okay, but what makes architecture innovative? What do you think architects should pay special attention to nowadays to be innovative?
Yeah, as an architect, you have to be kind of fever thermometer, yeah? You have to check out what's going in our society and how the society could develop. So it's okay what the young people are doing on the computer programs. They have to be aware that if they only trust the computer, they will overruled by the shapes and form they are producing. And there are people who are going for this climate materials, yeah, what I mentioned before. It's okay, but like I said, there is another third line. This is the social and cultural line in this word sustainability.
Yeah.
And we look, all our building consuming 30% less energy than the codes are asking for. All our buildings.
Okay, and
our museums cost only the price of 1 or 2 fighting bombers which are used in the military. You have to imagine that. Everyone said, oh, this kind of Saha's building are so or our building are so expensive. You have to, it's, you know, a fighting bomber is killing people. And a museum is educating people. This is the point we should discuss. Not that our buildings are too expensive. This is not the discussion. If it serves to educate people and to give them freedom in movement, let's say it that way, it's more important than just a bomber who kills in Syria or in the Near East, killing people. This is so stupid, that is the discussion. And the architects, yeah, they are sitting on the branch and sawing, all the architects sitting and sawing on the branch, they are sitting with motor saws, yeah, chainsaws. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. And
the discussion, this is what I told my students, yeah? Don't believe what they tell you. Do you know why in Vienna we only can build 24-meter height before it starts to be a high-rise? Because the ladders of our fire police are only 24 meters high. Is this a stupid argument? Instead of inventing a better ladder, a longer ladder, they say you cannot build higher than my ladder is going. This is stupid. And so forth and so forth. There are a lot of things. I'm talking about that. Maybe are students watching? No.
For sure.
It's a part of our knowledge, so it's very important too.
Because I will talk about that maybe, or it depends. See, this is what I mean. if I cannot see the reaction of the public, if I'm talking about that and I can see that the students are too young, then I change the subject immediately, because if they don't understand what I'm talking. Now, I don't know. So.
Okay, so in your project, it happens that private buildings with a specific function also create a public space. For example, I'm thinking of the BMW World building. And usually investors are not eager to spend money on public investment. And my question is, in your opinion, what they can have for such activities?
Yeah. Look, the public space in our long time ago buildings in Vienna, the client says it will not pay back. Now, this was 20 years ago. We built it because we could build it without losing square meter, because we made a very, very light construction, so that we saved centimeters in the height, so we could introduce public space. Now every building which is built now, social housing building in Vienna, as a public space. And I have to say, the best user of the public space are always the immigrants.
Why?
I don't know. The Viennese are lazy.
Okay, but what fascinates and inspires you in architecture, in space, and is there anything that you are afraid of regarding the future in architecture?
I'm too old to be afraid of the future.
Okay.
As an architect.
Yeah. Maybe I'm concerned because I have little kids. Mm-hmm. 5-year-old twins and 9-year-old daughter. I have older kids as well, but maybe if they go the wrong way, our society will wake up with and using all these medias they have in the wrong way. Maybe they will wake up with a goldfish memory, which takes 9 seconds to forget what you have seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm talking a little bit about the artificial intelligence tomorrow as well. Because this is a dream of dilettantes. The architects are always dilettantes. Yeah. They think they are the greatest, but they have no idea. They are talking about philosophy, and they have no idea what philosophy is, because they haven't studied enough the philosophy. Anyway, so I'm talking about the artificial intelligence tomorrow as well, because we use it as well. But we use it only for certain problems. We don't let the machine taking over our creative process. We use this artificial intelligence and blah, 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 and the programs only as tools, not as leader. I'm still thinking we are the leaders, because our brain, you know that only 18% of our brain is working to solve the problems we have in our daily life. All the other thing is out of our control, working out of our control.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the future.
Okay, I would like to change the topic a little bit. Mr. Prix, do you like football?
Yes, very much so.
Because in one of the interviews...
Lewandowski is a great player.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Because in one of the interviews, you compared the strategy and organization of your office to football tactics. So what
a long time.
Blau has in common with Barcelona Football Club?
No, what I said is that team, we always believed in team playing, yeah? Or like the famous mountain climbers, Messner and Haberler, who went to the Mount Everest, yeah, without oxygen, yeah, you know them?
Yes.
I got to know that they had a certain rule that if they are in stone, I think Haberler was, or one of them was the better climber on a stone mountain. The other one was the better climber if there were ice. So they changed according to the condition. This is one rule in our office. If someone makes it better, then he should take the lead for this problem. You understand?
Yeah.
This was the first thing when we worked with Helmut, and we changed the working method according to the problem. When we got bigger, and now we are 60 people in our office, we are not climbers anymore. I compared it with the football team. Everyone has his role, but in order to investigate the problems, we have to play around the field, and then there is one who makes the goal, yeah, or who takes the lead. At the very end decides, or at the beginning he decides, mostly me, because I'm the guy, the oldest guy with the greatest experience. We have excellent partners and team players. Very good partners.
So have you ever wanted to become a football player?
No. I was a goalie when I was young, but this was a long time ago.
Yeah, but if you could make the decision once again, would you follow the same path and become an architect again?
I always say, in my next life, I will be more the lawyer for architects than the architect himself, because they don't take risk like the architects are. They are just defending the architects.
Okay, so
more money than the architect. So the so-called star architect, the term star architecture is a very stupid term. But compare the money, the fee of a star architect with the fee of a movie star.
Yeah.
Or the computer star.
Yeah, so at the end there is one topic that we have to touch. It's the current situation in the world, because a RIBA survey found that 79% of architecture practices have reported project delays, and what's more, 57% have seen their turnover fall. Do you think that the current COVID situation will cause some changes in architecture?
Hopefully, my colleagues will get through. Hopefully. I still think that we are too many architects, and we are like a sardine swarm in a shark pool, yeah, where the investors are the sharks, yeah. Mm-hmm. But we don't have the swarm intelligence. This is what we have to learn in order to survive. Not doing stupid competition, not doing being too competitive, just exchange messages. I'm wondering. And the young people, you know, the young people who are involved in competitions, if they would calculate in a solid way, in a solid economic way, mm-hmm. they would never do it, never ever, because at least you get nothing, and the costs for a competition, normal competition, anonymous competition is about 50 to 60,000 euro. Basically, it means that you get depth in your youth, and later on, in order to get rid of this depth, you have to take every project, and they have to do it as fast as possible in order to earn money. That kills you at the beginning. And all these leading chambers of architecture are stupid enough to force this way of competition. Nothing against competition if they would be paid correctly. Then it's okay. But not getting paid for intelligence and intellectual and cultural work, namely the thinking of architects, this is a crime, I have to say. Can you imagine a surgeon, a doctor, 100 doctors are working on a dummy to show that they can do a surgery? Never ever. If you go to a lawyer, the first hour costs 250 euro. If you go to a client, the client expects that you are working for nothing. Tell that your students, tell them. They should ask for it. They should go work like we did. We made other things than architecture in order to survive. Driving trucks, selling fruits, in order that we could keep clean architecture, yeah? not being how do you say, blackmailed. By the way, have you seen the statement of Muhammad Ali when he was talking about black and white?
No, what did he say?
Yeah, but he says, why is Jesus white? Why is the Last Supper all white men? And so forth. And why does the President of the United States living in the White House? Mm-hmm. And if someone, where are the black angels in heaven? And so forth. This is a great interview. Long time ago. And
we have to check it.
Yeah, check it on, it's Muhammad Ali interview. And then he says, if you want to threaten someone, you blackmail him. Why don't you say whitemail him? Because the whites are also lying. It's great. It's a great interview. This is what I mean. This is what we have to teach the young architects. Ask the question which are behind. Where does the question coming from? I know where your questions are coming from. But if someone said, last week we had the same. They told me the politics will not allow this. I reject to work on. What does that mean, the politics? Who is the politics? Who is the guy who doesn't allow, and why?
Yeah, we have the last question, but you answer in this question because we have a question. Do you have any advice for the young architects in the end, this interview?
Yeah, there are two advices. Yeah? The first advice comes from Bob Dylan, saying, don't follow leader, watch the parking meter, or you don't need the weatherman to know how the wind blows. First advice. Second advice, Che Guevara, let's be realistic, let's make the impossible. The third thing is, my advice is, don't do architecture, make space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
That's a great finish.
thank you very much.
Can you see the building behind?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think that people believed in 1968 that this is buildable?
No.
We proved it. It took us 40 years to prove it, but we proved it.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the entrance to the...
That shows a big consequence and determination.
Yes.
Okay. Justyna?
Yes. It's me.
Boy? Well, I call you boy because my friend here is a Polish friend, and his name is Wojciech.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but I call him boy.
Boy.
Okay, that's fine too. That's
Yeah.
something new. Perhaps then after the lecture, every one of my friends will call me in such a way.
Yeah, boy. But he's a journalist, and if he gives me stupid questions, I always tell him, this is a question, it counts 5 boys.
So that we are happy that you didn't say it today during our...
One boy is perfect.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Have a nice day. I have to go. Yeah.
And have a nice day too, and see you on Thursday. Thanks a lot once
Thank
again.
you very much. Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome. Say hello to Poland. I love this country.
Thank
For
you.
sure. Bye.
Bye.
Dziękujemy bardzo za uwagę. Wywiad, który obejrzeliśmy, będzie również dostępny w wersji papierowej w magazynie Architektura i Biznes. Także zapraszamy do relacji i śledzenia.
Mamy nadzieję, że to, co mówił nasz gość, było dla Was inspirujące i każdy znalazł w tym wywiadzie coś dla siebie, jest coś, co zostanie z nim na dłużej. My zapraszamy oczywiście do obserwowania profili mistrzów architektury oraz architektury i biznes w mediach społecznościowych i dziękujemy Wam bardzo za uwagę.
Cześć.